we go. I got it.
Okay.
We're recording. Okay. Back to. All right. Does everybody see the screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Alrighty, so milestone 5 and 6. What we decided to do is something that makes a lot of sense just in terms of the way business actually does things. So we had originally had this that you would be looking at your mobile approach. And the mobile approach basically is where you start getting very tactical. This is where you're saying we're going to use geofencing for here, and this is why, and this is how many times we're going to do it, and how we're going to do it. We're going to create an app, and the app's purpose is this, and our goal is to get this number of people into the app. We're going to do some mobile advertising on these channels, that kind of thing. So everything up until now has been gathering all of the information, the research, the competitive research, the company research, the customer research, and sorts of synthesizing that into your personas and identification of your targets, as well as your objectives and strategies. Now you have set the tone for getting into the really getting into the nitty-gritty of what this is going to be. So with the approach, when you are typically writing that you're going to do an app, for example, say that's one of the things, the best way to really express that is to then immediately below that say, and here's how we're going to measure the success of that app. That might be number of signups. It might be, if you already have an app that you want to just enhance, it might be the number of new activity that you see on the app. Maybe you're going to enhance an app and you feel that those new features have successfully drawn in X number of people. But you're going to use data in that case of usage of the app as part of your ROI. If you're doing digital ads, that again can be data driven through, if you put it on Facebook, you'll use Facebook analytics. If you're doing it through Google, AdWords, you're going to be looking at those analytics. But those are ways for you to do ROI. In addition, if you were going to use geofencing, you're a retail location, you can certainly measure the number of responses to the geofencing ad. So those are the things that we'd really like you to do. So the purpose of this really is for you to begin to actually now build the contents of your plan. I want to see I really want to see at least 5 tactical approaches. I haven't put that in there, but I'll make sure to do it. I said 3 to 5, but I really want 5. There's not any program that's integrated that doesn't have at least 5 different tactical approaches to how you're going to reach your audience. Under each of those, do your measurement. Now, your team is going to, you've already done the research, so what you're going to do is use this as a way. So review all your materials in the module and think about how you would use that information. Your persona says that David, who you've created as one of your personas, is a heavy game user, and he's one of our key people. Well, where are you going to put something? Where might you attract him if he is an online mobile game user? In-game advertising, potentially on the website for the game, some digital ads. So use what you've done so far to show how you've connected, how you've identified your audience and your objectives and strategy to the tactic. So I want to see that connection. So based on one of our number 1 personas, we believe it's appropriate for us to do X. And we can gain a greater attention because this is where this persona lives. That's how I want to tie it together. The thing that's hard with these things, and we try to do these milestones to help as you go along the way, but everything is a step that builds on each other. So this is pretty much your last step. And once you are completed with this, and we provide you with the final feedback on it, your final step is to clean up your presentation, make it perfect, make any changes that you would like to make based on our feedback, and then do a Zoom taping of it and present it to us before the due date. So we're really getting to that. We're getting close. So with the criteria we're going to be looking at is we really are going to review the approaches based on your analytics. So again, don't just throw that you're going to do something in. Tell me why. Why is it going to reach that audience? How is it going to help us meet our objectives? And how will you measure this particular approach? So if it's all in one like that, it's really going to give us an opportunity to see your thought process. This is kind of all about strategy right now. It's all about you trying to take what you've learned about the company and the audience and everything and summarize it into the 5 tactics that are really going to hit home with that audience. Jeff, would you like to add anything? I'm kind of jumping in here and saying everything, but you've done this in your other classes with the approach and tactics in one. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so actually I want to go back. I think Maddie had a really good question. I think it was you, Maddie, about whether or not you need to include everything again in each part. Like Cheryl said, you don't need to, or it's kind of up to you, but I think it's actually good to say, like, just have in our research, we discovered this, like a sentence, just so it kind of shows that tie-in, and then remind us of what your objectives and your strategy are, and then the majority of your presentation or your slides would be based on these tactics. But I also like the way that Cheryl was talking about how you can measure these, and I know a lot of this is stuff that you're having to make up. So make it somewhat realistic, but based on the research that you did on your competitors and on your customers, I think you can kind of go, okay, if this is the first time we're ever advertising and we need to generate brand awareness about our product, then we're going to run this many ads on Facebook or this many ads on Instagram, or we're going to do the mobile advertising through another channel. How many times a week are you going to do that? And then based on that, how many excuse me, how many, sorry, that was me.
Okay.
Based on how many, or you can create measurements on different things. It's like, okay, you can start with followers or likes. That's not a great measurement, but that takes you into who's converting. Is somebody converting to go to your, or clicking to go to your website or to learn more? So as you have some of these tactics, you can have a call to action in your tactic or within your tactic that shows, okay, I want people to click here to learn more. I want somebody to click here to buy now. And then you say, okay, and by doing that, that takes them to this page of our website, and what other actions you can take. And then you can say, okay, we've had this many followers or likes, we've had this many people click on our call to action, and then we've had this many people actually do something when they've gotten to our website, whether it's make a purchase, sign up for a newsletter, become a loyalty rewards member, stuff like that.
Excellent point, because it's just, you're right, followers means nothing if they don't do the actions we ask them to do. And that's exactly great. Yeah. Questions from the group about this?
I think Sandra put one in the chat.
Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't looked at the chat. If you could.
Yeah. So my main question is, I know that it's like better to add things that your professor tells you to read. So I was just wondering for any classes. So I was just wondering, do we need a tactic that is location-based specific, or is it okay if we don't have it? We've been talking with our group. I've kind of put it out there as one tactic because we all want to come up with one tactic so that we can discuss. And I was kind of putting that out since I read the learning module. So I was just wondering if it's something that we need, or is it okay if we don't have it?
Yeah,
absolutely. Jeff, you can jump in here. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's up to you and what makes sense for your customers or your potential customers. So no, you don't have to use every single type of tactic that we've talked about throughout the course. But if it could make sense, if you have a retail location and your idea is to get your your competition's customers away from them, it might be a good thing to use something like geofencing. But no, you don't have to.
Okay, because my group, we decided to do the community-based grocery store, and I think I just kind of put it out there because I think since it's community-based, having a geofence of ads around our location would be best.
Yeah.
But of course, I was just wondering. That's all.
Yeah, what I usually encourage groups to do is list out all your ideas as a group and then pick those top 5 that make the most sense. So if as you are meeting with your team and the geofencing is in there, well, as a team, I mean, if you've got 13 things that you could possibly do, is that in your top 5? And that's kind of what we want to see, is what makes the most sense based on the research and your objective, and how is it going to get that target persona that you've defined. So yeah, it's completely up to you. We just don't want you to say we're going to do a Facebook ad on Wednesday and that's a tactic, and then we're going to do a Facebook content post and that's a tactic, because Facebook would be one tactic and these are the things within Facebook that we're going to do. If that makes sense.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you bet,
I
Alessandro.
add one thing about the whole geofencing idea and couponing and that sort of thing. It's just the idea that I remember when you go to Safeway, for example, if I do the, I forget what it's called, but the Safeway U kind of thing, it's all about you. Yeah. If I pick that up, what they do is they use the information they've gathered about me through the Safeway rewards card that and gives me the coupons I need. If you find your community-based grocery store is one that is there's some price sensitivity, you're having some issues with that, or you've got some new products you really want to promote, then geofencing, even while they're in the store, popping up with coupons could be helpful based on what you know about your persona. So again, it's just going to be based on if this is something that is important. A Whole Foods, would they do that? Maybe not. It just depends. So again, that's going to be up to your group in determining the way Jeff had talked. Yeah. But I do want to reiterate what Jeff said again. Don't just say we're going to use Facebook. It's like, yeah, to do what? So please do take a little bit of time to elaborate on how you feel Facebook could be an effective tool and how you would use that. And do you do that in all social media? If you're in, do you have YouTube? Do you have Instagram? Do you have Twitter? Is it applicable to the other social media channels? And how would you alter it based on your personas and the people who actually follow Facebook versus those who follow Instagram or tweet? There are various audiences that you can easily identify for those 3. And if you've had any of our classes in the past, you'll know that they all have different audiences.
Thank you very much. I have a follow-up question, but I'll ask it after everybody else one because I don't want to take too much time. So because I know other people have other questions. So I'm just going to have everybody else go and then I'll go again.
Well, that's very kind. Any
Thank you.
other questions?
Yeah, I have a quick question if you guys don't mind. I know this class is for mobile marketing. So for the final, should we all focusing on mobile tactics?
Yes.
Only show solely of mobile tactics, right? I just want to confirm that.
Yes. Because some of your tactics will work for both online and mobile. So
Yes.
You want to go mobile first, and then you could even define how you might make that applicable on the web as well.
Yeah. I just want to confirm.
And
Thank
you
you.
got it.
Yeah, stay as focused to that as you can.
Hey, Cheryl.
Yeah.
It looks like another student is trying to get in.
Sorry. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. That'll help me to stay more aware of what's happening with
Okay. I'm just going to text him back.
Steve is trying to join. Okay, there we go. Hi, Steve. Okay. All right, any other questions before we go back to Alessandro? Okay, go ahead, Alessandro, what's yours?
Oh yeah, my question is, so since we're doing like a marketing plan, do we need to include the the calendar where I can't remember the name of it, sorry, but like the calendar where we
The
put.
media plan, Sandro?
Yeah, thank you very much. Sorry, man, it's early in the morning. I yeah, so I was just wondering, do we need that in our final presentation, I guess, in like our Zoom, the one we record on Zoom and we present? Do we need that or not really?
Jeff, I'll jump in and then you jump in and see. We haven't actually fully discussed that question, but my thought is that what we want to see is some thinking process around, for example, if you do a social media content calendar, give us a sense of a month so we understand what you're doing and by putting in things. If you're doing a media buy on digital media, I don't expect you to do it the way you would see a standard media buy. Those are very detailed, but you certainly can say directionally, we'll be looking to purchase in these following ways. We're going to go to these websites. We're going to be looking at these social media channels. We're going to be doing, whatever it is you want to have for your digital media buy. So I don't need a complete schedule, but I certainly want to see your thinking about how you would design a media buy. Jeff, do you agree?
No, I agree 100%.
Okay.
Just to follow up on Sandro's question, if we do a media plan, do we need to include monetary numbers as well, like what it would cost for each advertisement and things like that, or is that kind of more detailed that we don't need?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say no. You don't need to get that detailed.
Like more of what we would do in like Kyle's class. I just wasn't sure how far you wanted us to go into that.
What were you gonna say, Cheryl?
I was going to say the most I would want to see, and this is something you might want to consider, is a pie chart with percentage on how dollars would be spent. So it's easy for you to say, let's put, 20% is going to go into this form, 10% into geo, this much will go into updating the website for mobile work, this much is SEO. Just kind of give me a pie chart. I think that would give us some your priorities.
Some kind of visual to convey the information, kind of what gets more attention. Gotcha.
Yeah, and don't worry about actual dollars in there right now. We haven't asked you to do that.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, Steve. Thanks for joining.
And that's really hard to find all that information too. And I know that Kyle makes you do it, but we'll take it a little easier on you.
Thanks.
He always tells me I'm too easy as a teacher, and I say, well, wait a minute. I want him to learn. I don't want to beat him up. So. Anyway, so how about any other questions? Are you all comfortable with where we are so far on this? I hope you like the approach tactic thing. I mean, approach the tactic and then the immediately doing your ROI. I think that would be good. Are you all comfortable with the various ROI opportunities? How would you measure? Okay, good. Madeline, did you have another question? You look like you do.
I think I was just curious. So when looking at the research, I know we're talking about like hypothetical companies and they're kind of made up. Is it important then at like somewhere along the lines to mention like as part of our research, this is what our competitors doing successfully and we want to replicate this on some level, or should we have like entirely original ideas?
I actually think looking at competitive reviews of what has worked and has, for somebody who's a direct competitor is always a good option. You don't want to copy it, but you can say this has been a proven tactic of our direct competitor. We'd like to change it in this way, but use this tactic because we believe it reaches the audience, or they've already demonstrated it reaches our audience. So I don't see any problem with that, Jeff.
And then I just somewhere in there, this is how we can make it better.
Yeah, you have to show that. Don't just copy what they do. But demonstrate how that channel's worked for them. So we'd like to improve upon that by doing X.
Perfect. That makes sense.
All right. Steve, was there anything in particular you wanted to see? We have been chatting for a while here, and this is being recorded. So we could catch you up on that. Was there any question you had specifically?
No, I think Maddie got it. We were wondering about the two milestones, combining them. So I don't know if she asked about the, if we were going to record or was this going to be live or how what that was going to be.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, we're asking you to do pretty much what we're doing right here, share your screen and do a Zoom recording and turn it into us, and Jeff and I will watch that. As much as I'd love to have this all done live so your other classmates can hear it, as a full online class, we can't expect that of anybody. So, but we do expect your team to get together on Zoom at one particular time with a finished product and then record as you run through the presentation. Do pay attention to the timing on this. I think we had said we wanted something under 15 minutes. There's a reason for that. It gets very difficult in business meetings in particular, or marketing meetings when you're making pitches. If you drag out certain sections or you just drag it out too long, you will lose your audience. So we'd like to see you guys practice timing and get it so that each of the particular sections get the weight of time they deserve. So you may not spend a ton of time at the beginning. You might want to summarize what you've learned from your research and spend more time on your approach and ROI, or however it is you want to do it. But just make sure you kind of pace it out as to around a 15-minute time frame.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, we have 6 people in our group. That shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. All right.
Oh, can I ask another question?
Oh yeah, of course.
So just touching base too with that last milestone, we did milestone 4. We had a meeting last night and we added like a summary portion, and I think we're on the right track.
Okay.
I just want to make sure, like, if we turn that in and it's like totally on the wrong track, are we going to have the opportunity to kind of work on that again some more?
With you, I think these milestones are really important, and if it is off, I'll give you some feedback and send it back. But I'll take a look at it. Probably I can commit to it tomorrow. I've got a ton of calls today, but I'll take a look at it and go through it and see if I can get you some feedback on that quickly, so you guys can get it finished off.
Perfect.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, I'm going to stop recording, and then if everybody else would potentially drop off. Ming, do you want to stay on for a minute and we can talk specifically about some of your thoughts?
Yeah, of course.
All right. Thank you, Paul, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Hey, Natalie, could you go ahead and drop off, please?
I'm just trying to get my stop recording here. Just a second.
I just think we with Min as the same group. If I can have like participate, the reason why we're doing like something wrong, because we have the same part with Min share of work. So I just think maybe it's okay if I will stay or not.
I'm sorry. Could you say that again? I had a little trouble hearing you.
Yeah, I say, we share the work with me, what we did wrong, we're doing it together. So I think, can I participate yeah, you will tell us what we do wrong. So I want to know also.
Okay, well, let's talk about what you felt you did. Let's get out of this full screen and I will get onto grades so I can see. This is for milestone 4.
3.
3. Okay.
3, yes.
All right, hang on. I'm gonna take a look at it right now, and we'll go through this. I'm sorry, my hotspot's a little slow. I'll just get in here to assignments. That'll do faster. Okay. Milestone 3. I think it was something very specific, if I remember right. So
Yeah, you're talking
I,
about target audience and some what was the first one?
yeah, I am going to get to speed grader here. Hang on. What's your group number?
my group number or group team 2, I think team 2.
Okay, let me get the right one up here. Team 3. Let's see. So none of the grades are very low. I graded it at 45, didn't I?
No, you got us a 40. I mean, anyway, what you say is, you say segmentation puts consumer into groups.
Oh, there it is. Okay, hang on. Got it.
And you say this is a broad representation of a customer base. I just want to know, like, how do you want me to write it? Because I think, on my standpoint, I think I have good enough of research to support my points, but I just want to see, like, what do you mean by put them into groups?
Okay, that's it will help to guide the rest of the plan. The STP needs some work. Okay, let me talk a little bit about STP. Maybe this will help. Because what happens with STP is oftentimes the segments get confused and targets and all of that. So if I think if we look at doing the, let me just walk through it and see if this will help address how to work on the STP. So segmentation is looking at each of the major categories of customers that are available for your product. So you're looking at, you're kind of grouping people by their segment. So if you have something that's for college students, college is one of the segments, but you divide that up because not every college student is going to use it. It's for architectural students. And then we also have a use with art classes, and we also have a use with design classes. So those are, so we're looking at college students that are in the design departments of major universities. We have college students who are in the architectural departments of major universities. We have instructors at each of these universities to educate them to the quality of our product, and so forth and so forth. So you've got these categories of people. These are your main segments. I always try to tell people, look at a tree. It's an apple tree. These segments are the apples all over that tree. Some of them are really high up in the tree, and some are really easy to pick. So when you're looking at your targets, after you've identified the major segments of people you're going to go after, you look at your targets and say, okay, which ones can we easily pick? So you're always looking to find that low-hanging fruit. And the reason you're doing that is it helps you to select targets that will be accessible by your marketing, you can easily reach them, are really probably your most likely first buyers, so you can build a good solid base of customers. They will produce the greatest income for you because they are so on target, and your messaging can be structured to really be relevant for them. That's what you're looking to try to do. So let's use this example of something that's available to help college students. The number one target you want to hit is architectural students, because you believe that they are going to be your first target. This is most relevant to them. It will help them get through their coursework. It's a software program that's perfect for them, that kind of thing. The next target will be graphic designers, because it's really important to them also, but it has more relevance to the architects, secondary relevance to the designers, and so on. So that's how you would then pick 3 potential targets out of this tree of apples that have targets on them. You don't want to worry about the guys at the top. You don't get to them until years after, when you've built your way up the tree with your audiences. So of those targets now, that's what you use to sort of build your personas, are those 3 targets.
Okay.
So those targets then come to life with your personas. And you guys did a great job on the personas.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
just
I think I got what you're saying now. I was having
Yeah,
the
yeah.
misunderstanding of the STP. I think I know what you're looking for because at first I wasn't too sure.
If you guys resubmit your STP, I'll change that grade.
Okay, yeah, I get to work on that.
Good. I hope that helped. And then the
Yeah.
final thing, though, is I do want you to recognize that under your 3 targets, you are going to have slightly different positioning. Your messaging is going to be a little different to the architectural students than it would be to the artists, or it would be to the graphic designers, or it would be to the teachers who are
Oh yeah,
teaching.
yeah, I
So
agree. I
that's why
agree.
positioning is a little, it takes on that slight twist to really turn on that audience.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I would just like say I was having a misunderstanding of STP.
You know what?
So
You're not the only one. It is a really tough thing to get, and I'm working so hard on how to improve the way I teach segmentation, targeting, and positioning, because it is a hard thing to grasp. So, don't worry about it. If you guys make those adjustments, I'll change your grade.
okay, thank you, Cheryl.
All right. Good. Well, thank you all.
Okay.
I'm excited that we had a good crowd today, and I think this will be really good.
All right, thank you.
Okay. All right. Take care. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Just a second.
Jeff, do you have any other comments?
Yeah, Natalie, did you have a question on that?
No. I just think I was a little bit voiceless in this project because I actually submit what you're asking